Hi guys, Christina here. So today I'm going to do a beautiful day eye makeup look for you. Yesterday I created this look on a client and she absolutely loved it. I took her through each step as I did it on her, and so she could remember how to do it, and she was absolutely blown away. Her struggle is she has so much makeup but just doesn't know how to use it. So I taught her this look, and I thought I would share it with you today as well. I've actually already done my base purely because I don't want this to go on and on and on, and I've done loads of foundation application anyway, so if you need the link to that I will put it in the comments below. So let's get on with it. So as you know, with your base application, I always put on a primer, the Laura Mercier, and I'm in love and still in love with the Charlotte Tilbury foundation. I use the Light Wonder in shade 8, which is medium, and I just love the glow it gives to the face, and it's super easy to use. Next I'm going to do is, you'll notice that I've left my concealer and I haven't done it. I will do it after I apply the eye makeup. So for this look I used the MAC paint pot. So I've got Painterly here and Constructivist. They're super easy to use. So a friend of mine the other day asked about eyeshadows for oily eyelids, and I really like the paint pots because they do not crease and they're so easy to use. They're so nice and creamy and they last a long time. So always make sure you pop your product on the top of your hand, just so you're not putting all of that on top of your eyelid. You can always add to it. Alright, so apply all the way over your eyelid, only up to your crease bone. I never advise to go over because then it starts to look more 80s like, and that's not what we want to achieve. So it's just one wash of colour straight onto the eyelid. It looks a bit rough, as you can see, but what you want to do is get your KTK or your blending brush and just blend in those edges. It's so important to blend the edges because you don't want harsh eyeshadow that you can see. You want to be able to make sure that it's, you know, seamless within the eye. See, just that little bit of blending there has made the harsh edges totally go away. And then pop onto the other side. Now maybe the lighting looks like it's actually a grey colour, but it's more of a neutral kind of eyeshadow, which so far clients that I've put onto from all ages and skin colours really suit it. So it's one that I highly recommend to buy. So that's the first step. Now I'm going to go in with my second colour. It's actually going to be an actual eyeshadow as opposed to the paint pot, but I love to put in there. Well, I put it in there yesterday just to give a little bit of glam, a little bit of shine without putting too much effort in, and a bit of extra dimension. So I'm using this goldy kind of colour from Tom Ford, which I need to get a new one obviously because it is absolutely amazing. But you could use any colour you like, really. You can use, I really like the golds, I really like the rose golds. You can put a bit of creamy silvery kind of colours in there, anything you really want to add a little bit of pop of colour. Always tap it on top of your hand and then just apply it lightly into the middle of your eye. So it's just a pop of colour, so you can see. And it's nothing too full on. You know, you don't want to put, for ladies who don't want to put too much effort into it, it doesn't need to be a whole big amount of colour. It's just when that, like, you know, it's more to see when the light hits your face, then you can see a bit of glittery shadow there. and then into the inner corners of the eye. Just a little bit of highlight there. And as always, use your blending brush just to place it in properly and so it doesn't look too harsh. And then just right on the edges of the shadow that you just applied. And with the third and last colour, you use your Constructivist or a brown shadow that you have. Load your brush up. Now the brown is obviously going to be a little bit darker, but the good thing about it, you can build up to it because it is a paint pot. So what I always do is just line the base of the eyeshadow, so right onto your lash line, and then just in short light movements you just want to add right onto the edges, so it's like a sideways triangle, and just build it up into the crease. Now I would recommend to go only just a third of the way because you don't want it to overtake the rest of the colours, but it's just there to give a little definition in the eye. And that's all I would probably do, because you don't want it to overtake. You don't want it to become into an evening makeup. Once you've done that, grab your blending brush again and just lightly blend the edges through. You can go on top just ever so slightly. You don't want it to come off. See, and it's just that little edge there, which I really, really like. Once you're happy with it, pop it onto the other side. So step one is to always just lightly line your lower lash. And then lightly tap onto the edge of your eye. I like to actually bring the contour a little bit further than the actual shadow, just to give a little bit more definition. And then again, blend all those edges out. So that's pretty much the the longest part of the eyes done, which shouldn't take you too long really. If you want, you can add liner underneath. When I did my client yesterday, I just put a tiny touch right under the lash line. You can use it with your concealer brush or a smudger brush, but you don't want it to overtake because remember it is still an evening makeup, sorry, a day makeup. So I actually tend to leave bottom liners out because it can be a bit harsh, but it can also just even it all up. And again, blend it through. If anything's dropped, which it shouldn't, because it is paint pots, then you can clean it up afterwards. Lots of ladies actually don't even like doing a top liner. I love it because I wear it every day and it's just my thing. But if you're one to not want to do it, then just absolutely leave it. So I'm going to actually leave it today and go straight into the lashes. So you want to just apply to your bottom lashes as you usually would onto your top lashes. So my trick is, and you would have seen from previous videos that I've done, is you coat your lashes and then in zigzag movements just zigzag the brush through your lashes, so then it just gives a little bit extra height and a little bit of extra curl. Once you've done your mascara, then you want to go straight onto your concealer. I always use, as you know, the Mercier, and then I've just popped a little bit of foundation on top of my hand. My trick is to always mix your foundation with your concealer so you don't have too thick a consistency under your eyes. So whatever you have, mix the two together. Then what I do is you want to be able to just, and I've done a concealer video on this, so I'm not going to go too full on into it, is just draw and fill in underneath your eye. Some people like to refer it, and some people don't like to refer it as a triangle underneath, but I have just found it just really takes away the the shallowness in your eye, and bringing it down into a triangle kind of takes away that illusion of that crease right through there. So it just really brings it down into that point. So I really like that trick. If you feel you need more product in certain areas of your eye, especially some people get really dark right through there, then you can add more product there. But if you don't need it, don't keep applying layer after layer. Just use the first amount that you've got on your brush and just really dab it into your eye. Don't swipe it because you really want to be able to get that coverage there. So I always blend that through. I always like to put a little bit more up through the brow, just if any of the shadows have fallen through, then you can just blend that out. And then you want to get your KTK foundation brush again and just really blend that concealer right through, right onto the eye. And so it just is creating a flawless base for your makeup. And it's just really, if you can see, really lifted under my eye area, which I love so much. And then do the other side. So follow the same process, drawing a triangle underneath the eye. Once you finish that, then I will just put a little bit of translucent powder underneath my eye, KTK blending brush, the smallest amount. Pop it into the top of your lid. I use the Mercier translucent powder, which is amazing. The smallest amount, always tap it off so you're not putting a whole heap of product underneath your eye. And just short circular motions, blending it all through. Go on top of your eye. And it just sets your concealer so it does not move or crease. Over time it may, but you don't want to be doing any creasing right from the start. So that's the important thing about it. If you want more, if you get shiny throughout the day, you can always put it through your T-zone and on top of your nose. But I love doing it with the blending brush because it really gets right into the smaller areas and you know you're not going to miss them. Right, and that is the eye work done so far. Now I'm going to just put a little bit of brow product through my brows just to even up the edges. I don't need a lot of work, but particularly just a little bit through the first part of the brow there, and then on the edges. Just creating a nice framework for the rest of your face. So I'm going to quickly finish off with a blusher. Now I did the blushes last week and I'm still loving the Jane Iredale one. So you can always just scroll across or scroll down to see where those videos are. But always you want to just smile. Apply to the apples of your cheek. And just blend that right through. Onto the other side as well. Okay, and then if you like a little bit of highlighter, my favorite, Becca. Becca is beautiful. Now you don't need a huge amount just because the foundation underneath is already giving it a nice glow. But I always like to put just at the top of my cheekbone here, just to do a little bit of highlighting. So straight onto lips. I'm going to miss the lip liner because I know a lot of ladies actually prefer not to put it on. And that's purely because they can't be bothered. So to save time, we'll go straight into the lipstick. I'm loving the Charlotte Tilbury colour, which is the Kim KW shade. And you just apply straight onto your lips. You can do it with the lip brush or straight on with the, from the lip bullet. Rub them together. And I like to just mix in Seduction lip gloss from Charlotte Tilbury as well. Put it on top of your hand if you're using a brush. And then just apply directly onto the top. It just gives a little extra shine. And I just love this lipstick. It is so creamy and velvety. So there you have it. This is my creation of a day makeup. My client and I loved it yesterday, so I hope you did as well. Have a go. Most of the colours should be a staple in anyone's makeup kit, so dig them out. Tell me how you go, and I really do hope this out. Alright, thanks.